Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pivot Poker. Got a really cool guest for you guys today. Might recognize him from some of his Hypebeast YouTube blogs from back in the day, but you might know him better from the Celebrity Poker Tour. I got Blake Wynn on, the founder of the Celebrity Poker Tour, also Enclaving Key, and also you might know him from B-Win Sports. He's done a lot of cool things in the sports poker world. But Blake, how you doing, brother? Glad to have you on.
I appreciate it. I don't normally do the poker podcast things because I think a lot of people say that what we do with Celebrity Poker Tour isn't overly poker. When you know, like our last event, we had someone fold a straight flush. So it's certainly different than what you normally see, but I appreciate you sharing the platform. I like what you do.
Yeah, man. Well, a lot of what we do here at Pivot Poker is we like, just expanding outside of from just normal poker, learning about, what people are doing, building things, and really what you've built at Celebrity Poker Tour is really cool. That's how I found you originally, was just, watching a lot of that coming across my feed. It's really cool stuff. I mean, you have Bryce Hall and Max Crosby at the same poker table. You're like, what is this? And it's so sick. But kind of going off of that, you started out YouTube, very successful YouTube career, vlogging, kind of hypebeast, sneakers, all that good stuff. Then you transitioned into, sports marketing and now Celebrity Poker Tour. Can you kind of just walk us through quickly how that kind of came about for you?
I would say it's all sort of the same thing. I think it's all really tied to relationships and the people that you know. A lot of athletes used to watch my YouTube channel, and that was how I befriended a lot of them. Many of those people that I met through that, or they didn't watch my channel, they liked sneakers. The people that I met through that are a lot of the same people that nowadays you see playing in the Celebrity Poker Tour. The story is that there was one night that I was having a home game. One of the ways I would maintain relationships with people is playing poker. A little home game at my house, 50 cent stakes. So really low stakes, but great group. And there was a night we had Austin Eckler there, and Chum Lee from Pawn Stars, and Joey Hamilton from Ink Masters. We just had this fun group of celebrities who, my marketing agency would work with, and we're playing. And Austin Eckler and I think it was Chum, they both flopped a full house.
Okay.
And it was like this moment, so they both go all in and they turn over their cards, everybody's going nuts. And Austin, who had the lower full house, ends up rivering quads, and everybody goes ballistic. They're like, finally, when the dust settles, everybody's going nuts, by the way. This is a room of people. Everybody's worth probably, like, not to make it about that, but to put in perspective how interesting the dynamic was. Everybody in the room is probably worth 10, 20, 30, 40 million. But I mean, these are like wealthy people who've had a lot of success. And the pot was $90 probably because the buy-in was 50, right? And everybody going nuts for minutes. Finally, the dust settles, and Austin's sitting to my left, and he sort of puts his arm on me. He says, "Tell me you have cameras in here." I don't have cameras in here. Oh, can you imagine how viral this would have gone? And it was sort of just like one of those light bulb moments. And we had, myself, my business partner, Hayes, Pilar, used to be linebacker for the Chargers, and a COO who runs the CPT show, Brock, Prince. We had always talked about, kind of the idea of having potentially a poker show or something like that. But it was sort of that moment, at least for me, where I was like, okay, we have to go do this. You know what I mean? Like, we have to take this thing that we do privately and figure out how to make it public entertainment.
Kind of going into Celebrity Poker Tour, like when you're getting these celebrities on and things like that, you're probably at the point now where people are like, hey, let me get on, I want to play. But before that, was it difficult to get people on, or were people like super open to coming and playing on, live?
I would say it's a mixture. I think what makes it easier actually for us now is, look, when you're talking about celebrities, you're talking about thousands and thousands of people, right? Because there's so many kinds of celebrities, and we try and bring all of them together. I think one of our kind of monikers is, it's like, we just posted a video today on our social where Eric Ebron became really good friends with Nanny Faye Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best. And it's like, where else on the planet would you see an NFL legend and an 80-year-old reality TV star become friends, right?
Right.
What's made it easier is that the sensitivity to, hey, I don't know how to play poker has kind of gone out the window, because we've had people fold pocket pairs, we've had people fold straight flushes, we've seen it all. And we've had so many people win or do very well where when we're interviewing them, hey, like our last winner, King, who's a big streamer, he won and he didn't react. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not very good for television. Right, I'm like standing right behind him. I like tapped him on my shoulder. I was like, King, you won. Oh, I won. I mean, he just totally, like, he literally won the tournament and the lights are going crazy. I don't know if he thought his opponent won. I don't know what he thought, but
Yeah.
it's like that dynamic helps us recruit players. We get a pretty good mix of, people reaching out, they want to be a part of it, or, we've got a great network. So we'll reach out to certain people and be like, I know you probably never thought about this, but it would be fun and your audience would love it and you get to meet some cool people. And so it's fun. I will say it's definitely gotten easier to build the player pools, not harder.
Definitely. And so kind of going off of that, when you're getting these pools, who's coming into the tournament. Are you kind of strategically choosing these tables? Are you more so trying to pair people up like skill level, or are you going after what's going to be entertaining? Like, how are you setting up these tables?
I put it this way, the skill level component is really negligible. That's the other thing. We've sort of formatted the tournaments to where it's only so relevant from the standpoint that there's 3-hour turbos for 60 people.
Okay.
I mean, we had, just to sort of prove a point, I mean, we had Mike Mattisau play. He didn't even get in the top half. We've had Colby Covington, who's got $500,000 in career earnings, who's a serious poker player, but he's also a UFC star. He got second in the first tournament that he played in. He came back last tournament. No one ever saw him. He got second to last. He got 59. So it's one of those things where the format helps mitigate that. So you don't need to sit people based on skill. I would say we're trying to do a couple things. We want to satisfy people at home, but you want to satisfy all the celebrities there, right? So you got to tread this very thin line that I think Hayes and Brock do a great job of on our team, where you want to create a situation where people are seeing each other, sitting next to people who they might not know, but they'll have commonalities, they'll have mutual friends, because then you get them more talkative and more dynamic. And then when you have the all-in moment or you have something like that, now they've had a couple of drinks together, they're having a good time. So now that when the cameras are on, the dynamic is then also improved, right? So you got to satisfy the human nature side of it in person in a way that then amplifies what people at home are able to see.
Definitely. And so going off that, do you think, because like you were just saying there, Colby Covington, for example, not doing as well, but he's a huge player. And, do you think that maybe is a little different for, like, say, these experienced, quote unquote, maybe pro players? They have their strategy. They're used to these tables where they're, playing against big names and super locked in. And then they come to these tables where there might be some inexperienced players, maybe only a few times they played. Do you think that could even like throw off some of those better players? Like, it almost is an advantage maybe for some people that don't know.
It 100% does. I mean, we've had, Wolfgang has played 5 or 6 times, Wolfgang Poker. He did win one of our single table events, but he's never really done that well at the multi-tables. Rampage Poker, Alex Botet. I mean, you go down the list of like the poker influencers. The only person who I would say kept full control, we've had Maria Ho play twice. She won both times. She had total command over our field. But even that, I mean, when Maria Ho won, she called an all-in with top pair and, a high kicker against Sophie Dossi, who didn't even know what she had, the America's Got Talent star. She flopped a straight, and Maria backdoored a full house. So even winning, even being Maria, I mean, she needed the 3%er in that situation, right? So,
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I definitely think it would throw off someone who has poker knowledge when someone will just cold call a river bet with 9 high. It's like there's a famous, it wasn't us, it happened at Poker Go, but there's a famous clip where Tony Hawk calls down Maria Ho with like 8 high and she had 6 high and she was like, "Are you cheating? Like, what the hell?" And Tony, you can tell he's just like sitting there, like he just doesn't know what's going on. Like that clip I know has gone very viral. We've had our version of those moments. It's all the same thing. They don't know. So it's like, all right, I got a 7 and I got a 5 and I got those 2 kings on the board. It's a lot of that in the studio, to be honest.
I mean, just naming all those names and seeing the kind of people coming in and playing, that's just so cool. Just the different variety of people that are playing in your tournament. Is there anyone that's like come in that maybe hasn't played that much? You kind of knew they weren't playing that much and they kind of like surprised you, like with their savviness, or maybe they just come in and seem like a natural. Like, is there any people that really stick out and surprise you before?
I would say so. I mean, I will say even just this last event, I was shocked. Savannah Chrisley folded a straight flush, so it's hard to say that her poker acumen is like that high. But she got ninth place. So that's the thing, right? That perfectly epitomizes the point I'm trying to make, which is you have someone who knows such little poker that they folded a straight flush, but somehow final tabled in a 60-person turbo, right? So that kind of stuff is, it's impressive to see. I mean, someone who really impressed me was John Johnson the third. He's a Rams safety. He won our first invitational of this year, 60-person event. Navigating I will say this, usually when it gets down to the final table, pretty much the best player at the table wins. That did not happen the last two tournaments, but normally that's the case because then, blinds are low, or in terms of the amount of blinds you have in your stack is very low. They're increasing very quickly. Everyone's nervous because the pay jumps get actually quite real, right? Like you do still win money in these things. And I talk about one thing, if there's anything celebrities for sure have, it's pride. So they don't want to get eighth. They want to get third. They want to get second. They want to get first. So, yeah, you see some bizarre stuff. But Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers was another one. He got second in one of the big events. He totally shocked me. He actually seemed to know what was going on. And the funniest thing I ever saw was when it got to the final table that he got second at, he had a quarter of a small blind and got second place. I mean, it's just...
That's crazy.
The talk about the difficulty in doing that. I mean, couldn't do it if you tried 100 more times.
Couldn't do it again. That's like a once in a lifetime type of thing to happen. Like you said, kind of working with celebrities and seeing them in this game, it's probably a lot different than, a lot of other industries or a lot of things people do. And how do you kind of, manage that, like getting people to come on? Like, are there some people that probably are, lack of a better term, not as high of a celebrity, but they want to join and get on and things like that? Like, how are you managing the dynamic of all this?
I mean, I'm not going to say that there aren't times where we sort of say, this isn't quite a fit yet for somebody. I would always use the word yet though, because I mean, in the blink of an eye, especially nowadays, someone can become a viral star,
right?
Saying something like Haktua, and we've had that girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen that clip when she didn't know what she had or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So in any given moment, someone who's maybe we're like, we don't know if they. And really the thing, I put it this way, right? Like, I think one of our big objectives is bringing audiences to poker that have never normally seen it, right? So part of the prerequisite for that is our celebrities need to have their own audience. So that way, when they advertise that they're playing in this game, their audience is like, oh, I want to see you do this, right? So for us, I put it this way, there's no magic follower count. There's no, I don't have tight prerequisites. It's sort of, I don't want to say it's a feel thing, but you can see someone's analytics. You can see if someone has a real audience. Because I will tell you, I mean, we had H3, for example, Ethan Klein and Gila Klein from the H3 podcast on YouTube. I mean, they brought literally hundreds of thousands of viewers to the game, which is a massive, I mean, no football player that we have necessarily individually brings that many viewers. But we've had people that have 5 times their following that didn't bring hundreds of thousands, right? So the people with the really kind of cult audiences, I think, are really fun to have because you end up introducing poker to a world of people that aren't used to it. I particularly love having celebrities who have female audiences. Obviously, the athletes aren't for that, but a lot of our influencers are, because I think that's a huge opportunity in poker. If you were to check the analytics of, your World Series, your World Poker Tour, your Poker Goes, tends to not a knock on them, but traditionally, I mean, you go see in a casino, you can see it anywhere in the world. Poker's like a 95-5 men thing. But if you think about it, it's like, why? It's not, it's sort of gambling, and there's that whole debate, but it's a lot more skill. You can also play it for peanuts, for pennies, it's a fun thing to do at home. And women love game nights. Women love hanging around, having a drink of wine, playing a game. So I've never really understood why they weren't participating in poker. And so I think that's an opportunity that CPT has really brought to the forefront of the poker industry, which is, I mean, our audience is like 70-30, and we've had tournaments that are 50-50. And I mean, we had one tournament in particular where we had over 1 million people tune in, and literally over 50% were women. We actually had more women watching, but because we had the H3 group, we had Tandem Mojo, we had the kinds of people that women like to watch, but you end up with an audience of largely I put it this way, our players don't know how to play. Our audience doesn't really know that they don't know how to play. So it's a whole new set of eyes that are just trying to be entertained by this. And if we entertain them, then welcome to poker to all these new people, which is the goal.
Exactly. And that's awesome because I mean, I've just seen just in my friend group and things like that, we'd always get together and play, but some of our friends that haven't played and then they see, these celebrities and other people like, oh, this is actually something we can all like do and play together. And going off of that to get a little more poker specific here is, I think we've seen the game change a lot, like over the past like 10 years, as far as the Euro players, strategy coming in, all that kind of stuff. So like, what are your thoughts on how poker is going to continue to change? Because I feel like you're going to have, especially with Celebrity Poker Tour, these clips, poker is just going to continue getting bigger and bigger. In your opinion, like when it comes to strategy and, the statistical aspect of it and playing the game, quote unquote, right, and between mindset and strategy, like what do you think is the most important part of poker? Do you think it's going to change? Do you think it's like there's going to be so many the modern poker, as they say, coming in,
Yeah, well, a lot of it's subjective. I mean, obviously, I'm a lot more intrigued by the entertainment side of poker than the high stakes, quality mathematics using solvers style of poker. I don't think that side of poker is incredibly scalable.
Like GTO, stuff like that. Yeah, like it's just boring in my opinion.
Well, and that's the point, is that it's boring, so it's not for entertainment's sake, but for high stakes, I would much rather invest in somebody who has that knowledge than Savannah Chrisley, who folded a straight flush, right? So I look at it as two different things. I think, an analogy I'd probably make is, I think the growth of poker is very similar to the growth of like something like tennis, where you're talking about, you've got Mizrachi, you've got Serena Williams, you've got, like you got your top people. And if you're really into poker, you really like watching it. If you really like tennis, you really like watching those Taylor Fritz and all these people. I think we're like pickleball. I think we are the kind of poker where people get together, everyone buys in for $15. They throw whatever, sporting event is happening that night, or maybe if it's during a CPT event, they throw CPT on their TV in their little game room or their living room. Everybody buys in a few bucks. They pass around cards. They make shitty plays, but they have a blast doing it. They have a cocktail and they drive home and life goes on. That is the part of poker that I really want to invest in the growth of, from the perspective that I think it's a wonderful game. I'm not particularly someone who, I'm not anti-gambling by any means. I even have fun going to play, but I wouldn't say my objective is to push the gambling side of poker on people. I push the camaraderie side of it. Poker for me is how I maintained relationships with real interesting, fascinating people for many years of my life. And I realized, wow, I mean, everything people would tell me growing up about golf being the kind of thing that you learn because it's great for networking, it's great for getting business deals done, it's great for, getting to be competitive. I'm like, poker checks all those boxes, except you can learn it in 5 minutes. Golf is one of the most miserable things on the planet to try and learn if you didn't learn it as a kid. I mean, it's miserable. So that's I would say my interest in the future of poker is completely on the recreational side. It's seeing more of it happen, again, at very low stakes level, no rig, nothing illegal, obviously, right? But seeing more people in college doing that as an activity, seeing people, get together with their coworkers on a Wednesday night and go do that. That's, to me, where I think the true growth of poker is. I think it's a very grassroots thing. I don't know. I'm not, like what you said, I'm not that interested in the growth of people memorizing solvers and things like that. I understand why they do it. I don't think they're wrong for doing it. It's a different thing. That's poker as a career. This is poker as a fun thing to do, like golf, if you're not on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I was saying, it's like, World Series of Poker, like that's cool and everything to watch. But to be completely honest, I'd rather go watch Celebrity Poker Tour than World Series of Poker, just because, one, I feel like you have celebrities. So it's like, oh, I know all these people. It's that cool dynamic. But two, like you said, like, not to say, game theory optimal and that side of poker, boring might have been lack of a better term, but it's like when you just see people going round and round, they're not even talking to each other. They're just focused with their headphones in and just, it's like, that's not enjoyable for the viewer. And so like something like Celebrity Poker Tour, they're fucking with each other. They're getting at each other. It's just really, really cool. And like you were saying, growing in college and stuff like that, getting the kids not kids, but like college kids, like getting them off the Xbox and all that shit. It's like, this is like a good way to like actually, you know, just with the way technology and everything's going, people on their phone gaming all the time. It's like, this is a real activity that's cool, good conversation. So I agree completely. That's the kind of way I like to do poker. You know, I'm not really game theory optimal. I'm not memorizing charts. You know, I'm just out there to have fun, because doing all that other stuff, yeah, I might play better, but I'm not going to enjoy myself as much.
I could tell you the Poker Go crew, we got to the final two in our last event. It was Alan Bernstein from Dancing with the Stars, one of their longtime dancers, a fan favorite, and King, who's a big streamer, and gets the final two. And Alan, I would say Alan knew how to play poker. King's screensaver was the what beats what, because he literally learned on the way there. He, definitely the least experienced winner we ever had.
Yeah.
Nice guy, but just the least experienced winner. And the two of them get the heads up, and they have almost the same amount of chips. And Alan says to King, he says, why don't we just go all in blind and just see who God wants to win the thing? And King's like, oh, hell yeah, man. And mind you, first place gets 20 grand, second gets 10. So, I mean, it's a $10,000 flip. Like, these aren't billionaires. I mean, 10 grand's a decent amount of money to anybody. And I'm standing behind them and I'm like, oh my God, what a moment. They're just, this is what it takes to win a tournament. They don't have cards in front of them. I can see, forget everybody else in the studio. I mean, we got a rail full of celebrities, which is cool too. So I got all these, everybody who's busted out is on the rail, like, oh, you know. But I look and I see, because our production team is Poker Go, they're great. And they produce, you know, the World Series and, you know, they're No Gamble, No Future, all lots of events. So they see it all in poker. And I can see their faces, because that's where I'm looking behind the camera. And they are all like, they're all tapping. I can see their genuine reaction. They're managing the cameras and they're reacting this way. And I'm like, see, this is different. This is exciting. This is cool. This is easy to watch. And by the way, heads up. I mean, not that heads up's boring, but most people don't want to watch an hour of heads up. Certainly not an hour of heads up between two people that don't know how to play, because it's usually just a lot of folding to the big blind. This was amazing, right? And so that's that. I don't know. It's very different. You know, I don't, you know, condemn anything that World Series or anybody else is doing. I mean, you know, I think I know the World Series team very well. I think they do a great job. But see, they're trying to create the Disneyland to the poker enthusiast. They're trying to create where you come to Las Vegas in the summer, you go to Nassau in the winter, and it's just poker all day long. It's no different than people who fly to Bethpage to go watch the Ryder Cup if you like golf, or, you know, you're trying to get immersed by poker.
Yep.
I'm trying to be a TV show. We're somewhere between a sport and reality TV. And we air 10 times a year or 8 times a year. Some new characters, some return characters who you've maybe formed an opinion about based on either their own personality on social media or their performance in a past event that we already had them in. And you watch. And then, like, life goes on, you know? It's not, nobody at home, you know, you can wager a few bucks on it because we offer betting on the sports books and stuff, which is cool. But yeah, it's meant to be light. It's meant to make people laugh. It's meant to be funny. You know, it's not, probably not a great thing to watch to learn how to play poker.
Right. Yeah, you're going there for entertainment. You're going there to have a good time, like enjoy yourself. As to where, you know, same as you, like, no, not condemning them at all. You know, I still enjoy that side of poker, and I think that's what makes it, you know, a real sport. But they're like trying to really solidify it as a sport. You know, this is a serious sport. This is, you know, people take it seriously. As far as just a viewer goes, it's just much more enjoyable to have fun, see these guys, and that's great. And is there any like crazy like psychological strategies you've seen someone pull like on Celebrity Poker where you're like, wow, that was big brain right there?
There's things that have happened where I'll tell you one, which was one of our viral moments of the year. We had a single table tournament at the beginning of the year, and the final two got down to Swade Brooks and Jose Canseco. And Jose had the majority of the chips. And he is a good player. He's got career earnings, the whole thing. Swade knows how to play. She's from Las Vegas, but it was a kept secret that she knew how to play. She didn't want anyone to know. So the whole day she's, oh, what do I do? They're like, oh, but she knows how to play. I've been playing with Swade for years. And, you know, she's in a little corset. She's totally unassuming. And I said to Swade, she's like, how do I do heads up? I'm like, I can't really tell you, but I was like, I'll tell you what, usually, especially in the CPT, the more aggressive person heads up usually wins. She says, okay. So she goes out there The first hand, she goes to bet, and I can't see what, we don't know what the people's cards are. I'm just watching the dynamic. She goes to grab chips, and I noticed in a second because I do know poker, but I don't think the players do. She goes to just touch her chips, and Jose like open folds, and he's all frustrated. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, if I'm swayed, I'm touching my chips every time. Well, over the next 30 minutes, she wins. She comes back down from a 6-1 chip lead that Jose had, and she wins the tournament. Jose is furious. And it was highlighted when she riffled her chips, and Jose had a full house, but not the highest full house, and he folded it. And she just had like pocket knives. She had nothing, right? I said to her after we're doing our little eggs interview, I said, how did you win? How'd you do this? She said, I just noticed as soon as I start touching my chips, he would open fold.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, she picked it up. That's amazing, right? Because she knows what beats what, but the fact she picked that up, I'm like, that's actually that's a little bit of real paying attention, poker knowledge. And, people maybe listening to me say this are like, it's not that hard of a thing to notice. Well, it's not that hard to notice when I explain it the way that I did, number one. And more importantly, number two, you would be amazed at your own poker play. I don't care how good or bad you think you are at poker. You'd be amazed if you knew 1 million people are watching. You've got hot lights on you that make you sweat, like literally make you sweat. It's a lot of lights. You've got a camera angle on every single side of your face, head, and everything, wide shots, everything. You've got hundreds of people watching you in person, some cheering for you, some rooting against you. It's like, I look at it this way. It's like, if you ever, for those people listening who play golf, put $3,000, if that's a lot of money to you, on a 5-footer and then see if it's just as easy. You know what I mean? Like, it really is different to play televised poker, whether you know the game or not. So for her to pick that up, I thought was amazing. But there's been lots of these funny moments where Mackenzie Dern like choked out Adrian Peterson in one of our tournaments, and he like tapped out, and then he like folded a few hands straight, including like some good hands, because you could tell he was just a little discombobulated from lack of oxygen in his brain. I mean, you've seen stuff like that where it's like Mackenzie's not trying to get a leg up in the game; she's just entertaining, which is amazing. But you see the impact that it has for sure. Another interesting thing. You didn't ask it, but I'm going to tell it because you asked about dynamics. We've had multiple couples get formed as a result of CPT. You got open bar. You're meeting people that you never met before. Princess Love, who's a big reality TV star, big poker player, and Mario Chalmers, who won a number of championships in Miami Heat. They met at the CPT, sitting at the same table last year. They've been together since. John Johnson III, who won one of our tournaments, and Telly Swift, another reality TV star who they've played multiple times. They met at a tournament last year. They ended up together. We've got lots of probably the flirty nights, but actual couples as well. And that, I bring it up because that changes the dynamic of the tournament a little bit as well. Having families, you've had the Gronkowski family, you had the Chrisley family, you had multiple Impractical Jokers. So you have those close personal dynamics change the game. But again, that's all the stuff that we're hoping people want to tune into and see how it unfolds when there's a guaranteed conflict thanks to the nature of poker.
Yeah, exactly. And that's to your point, kind of like bringing that reality kind of show aspect to it too. And that definitely will get the female audience wanting to get into that. I mean, that's really cool. And so kind of switching gears, not too much, but how often do you really play? Do you play a lot? Do you play in tournaments, or is your focus probably is Celebrity Poker Tour right now? But
yeah, I've played, I think, 2 tournaments in my whole life. I played like a $60 daily at South Point when I was younger, and then I played in a Poker Go event that was free. And I sat and played under the cameras. I wanted to experience it, so they were nice enough to invite me once. And it was, like I said, I'm speaking from experience. It was different playing poker under the lights. I would say I probably play the home game in my house once or twice a month at the most. Like I said, super low stakes. I don't go playing casinos ever. Like probably less than 5 times in my whole life have I ever played poker at a casino. I don't know, because again, like what you see at CPT, I look at it this way. It's my vision. It's Hayes' vision. It's Brock's vision. It's my whole team's vision. And our vision's based on what we experience and what we have fun with and what we like, and none of us are GTO people. None of us are high stakes gamblers or anything like that. We're all come over, we got the NBA draft on, we're playing a home game, I'll order pizza, That's our vibe. So we try to bring that to television.
I love that, and that's exactly like kind of how I like to play. I've only played once in a casino and like a small little thing, kind of right outside Denver. But other than that, it's yeah, just come over, go in the basement, throw on something good, have some beers, and I think that's what's gonna get poker to get bigger is people understanding it's just that chill, good time, have a good time with your friends. It doesn't have to be all that serious. But going off of that, and this is the only really, I guess, poker specific question I'll ask you is: do you have like when you're playing, do you have like a hand that people are always like, oh, fuck this hand. This is shit. But you like love it. Like there's one hand that you think is slept on.
5-3 suited. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. I like that. Good to know. Good to know if we're ever playing together. But other than that, if there was like one person on your tour that you'd least want to go heads up with, who do you think it'd be?
In poker.
In poker. Yep. Like you're out on your tour, one person you'd least want to go heads up with.
I will admit, I don't by any means think I'm a great poker player, but I have not been intimidated by the play of anybody at the CPT just yet.
Okay. Good to know.
I have to say, I mean, man, heads up's a tough game. You know, I mean, if you're not used to it, no one practices it. When you're learning how to play, you're playing home games. That's why it's so tricky. When you get to CPT, I mean, I've had people look at me when they're down to 3 and be like, oh, this is different. I don't know what to do. You know, and it's like, I don't really either, to be honest with you, because I've never played 2 people in poker before. But I don't know, maybe Colby Covington. He's a good friend, so he would really want to beat me. I'd really want to beat him. Austin Eckler, who I do play with all the time, we get into like, despite that it's low stakes, we get into big pots in relation to the stakes at my house. Like he's a calling station. And I like to do that too. We laugh because he'll say, you never mind being the underdog. And I'm like, I know I'm live, so who cares? You know, and it's like, at the end of the day, like that's the part about the stakes where, you know, it's a little challenging. Like it's like, awesome. It's $8 to call. And if I win, it's going to be like, gotcha, you know? So, exactly. But that's the dynamic that's so fun. You know, that's why CPT is so fun. These people, I mean, we had Will Levis call a flop and he like freaked out and everybody posted on social media. It was on like SportsCenter, the whole thing. You know, he busted Alex Botez out of one of our tournaments and he was like, checkmate. You know, and it's just like you have these moments, and it's like that's for free money. Those are tournament chips. Those are random pieces of plastic that say Aria on it. It's fun to see that dynamic play out, you know, on TV.
And I mean, it's just so cool to watch. I mean, like I said, that's how I honestly watch it a lot, and I just love the clips. It's enjoyable. It's fun, and you know, it's probably taken a while to build that up. I know it's no easy feat, you know, building, especially in the gambling sports world. It's a lot, and kind of going off of that, and then we'll get you out of here is, you know, business side, you know, what do you think has been one of the most challenging aspects? You know, you said you came into it, you had a great YouTube career, you had a great marketing career. So you kind of already had these connections that probably really helped out. But other than that, like what do you think the most challenging thing was to build this to what it is today?
Well, I put it this way, we've been very lucky. I mean, our first celebrity poker tour event was February of last year. So we're only 18 months old. It's, you know, so it's funny to even hear you say like to get it to this point, it's like, it feels like yesterday, but we've had a lot of events. We've stayed consistent. I don't want to say it hasn't been challenging, but we haven't faced anything that we couldn't overcome yet. Right? Businesses start to fail once you reach that threshold where it's like there is no correct solution or answer that can get you past here. And we just don't feel like we've reached that point. So therefore, I mean, there's been little moments where, you know, the day before a tournament, a celebrity has a death in the family and they got to back out and you're like, oh shoot, we got to fill this spot. And we have like 15 minutes to fill it with like a celebrity, right? That's not always easy. You know, and I will say this too, right? Like we have partner's not the right word, but there's a lot of moving pieces, right? There's catering, there's food and beverage, there's the MGM Resorts International because they own the studio space where we throw these events. There's Poker Go doing the production. There's, you know, there's all the media that come in and cover the red carpet. There's a lot of moving pieces. So naturally in any business, when there's a lot of moving pieces, those pieces move, and sometimes they move when you would hope they don't move, and you got to adjust accordingly. But, we got a great team of, people, and, luckily, as much as it's only been 18 months, we've thrown 13 or 14 of these things now. So it's gotten a lot more systematic. So fingers crossed we don't run anything too tough. I don't know. We've been very lucky. It was always a convincing story. We had 6 sponsors for this before we ever had our first event, which I think was definitely a testament to the team. But I think in theory, that was maybe the hardest part, but everybody went for it. We told them the story. We said, look, poker's conflict, right? No matter how you slice it, you watch the news and you like politics, you watch sports and you like any league, you watch reality TV, you watch murder mystery shows, there's conflict, build up, resolution. That is entertainment. Problem is, poker by nature, it isn't normally that with the way that it's currently being displayed. But why not? Because if you think about it, there's a new conflict every 90 seconds that's going to play out. If you put interesting people behind those conflicts, you're going to have interesting moments, which is going to create that story arc and be interesting television. And so that was what I just said to you. I haven't said in a little while, but I basically just regurgitated our early pitches to brands to get them to sponsor. And we did. We had great, and those sponsors are still sponsoring now. Louis the 13 is our trophy. And we said, how cool would it be if someone won a $5,000 bottle of liquor we have engraved as our trophy, right? Forget being an alcohol sponsor of an event. We'll make you a character. We'll make you the trophy.
Yep.
Right? You won't win a bracelet. You'll win a Louis 13 bottle for $5,000. We went to Flip and we said, look, we think we could drive, from a market perspective, we could drive users and, we could get people to download your app and bet on football. But what if people could bet on this? Even if it was just capped at 15 or 20 bucks, not about betting. What if someone watching the poker could feel like, I want Bryce Hall to win, I want Steiny to win, or whoever it is? And so our story was convincing, and it convinced enough of the right people who gave us a chance when, maybe a lot of people wouldn't have, and we're very fortunate they did. But, all those things considered, it's been a strong climb for us.
And you mentioned Bryce Hall and Steiny. They seem like they kind of know what they're doing sometimes. They seem like there's some of probably the better players out there. I mean, Bryce Hall seems like he can really clean it.
They absolutely are. Bryce is a high stakes poker player. He plays constantly in private. My guess is he plays multiple times a week, minimum, if not close to daily. Steiny plays a lot less, but has been playing since he was younger.
Yeah.
I know Bryce has actually taken up Sam Saveral as a coach, who's a great player. I know he signs himself up for difficult games intentionally, knowing maybe he'll lose, but he wants to really test himself. I give him a lot of credit. He wants to be a top poker player. He's got the money to compete with the guys.
Yeah.
So, it's very cool to see. Bryce is CPT's Mr. Bubble, because the top 8 or 9 people cash in every one of our big events. We've only had 7 of the big events, the multi-tables.
Yep.
Bryce has gotten bubbled 4 of those 7 events.
Yeah.
He was the bubble and was on the losing side of the bubble every time.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting, but he's also won one outright. So he's got the little balance, but no, he's a good friend. He lives here in Las Vegas. And that's the fun thing too. Like, I sort of describe it to people as these events are kind of like wedding weekends for our team. Because everybody's coming from out of town. They're excited to be here. They're here to have some drinks, play some games, be on TV, meet some new people, go have a late dinner, go have some drinks. Some of them like to go clubbing. Some of them, we have Waka Flocka, the next one. Waka Flocka plays, and then he goes across the street to Dre's, and he's the host. He's the pack that night. So, we had Matt Franco come play in the last one, the great magician, who's had residency in Las Vegas for 10 years. And he comes and he does a trick and he plays and it's a ton of fun. And he's like, I gotta go. Thank God I lost early, actually. Like, my show starts in 30. They can't start without me, but he had his own show in his residency for 10 years, start late because he was having fun at CP. That's the stuff that's like, it's awesome.
Love it. Love it. Well, Blake, I really appreciate it. You've given us tons of time and some really cool stories. So I appreciate it, brother. What's next for you guys? I know you got some tournaments coming up, but anything new and exciting coming up? And where do people, just for the people that might not have seen it yet, where do they go to go watch this?
Just at Celebrity Poker Tour on YouTube, Instagram, X, all those. But we have 2, probably 3 more tournaments this year. August 30th is our next one, Saturday of Labor Day weekend. It's going to be an awesome group. We've got Jersey Shore coming. We got the Chrysleys coming. We got NFL players have that weekend off between preseason and regular season. So we've got some NFL stars. That's going to be a phenomenal game. November 19th, the day before F1, is our championship. The names and the people that we're going to have at that one, it's like nothing we've ever done before. I think, our record is we had, I think 2.4 million people tune into our most watched game live, which was our championship last year. I think we're going to destroy that viewership record because these people that we're having have big time audiences. People are going to be excited to see them. And then, we're discussing some interesting partnerships that would give us more events, put us more in the poker world. I'll say that. But I don't know. It's a lot of fun. We're 18 months in. We're creative. We're young. We got a good team. We got celebrities fired up about it. So as much as I can't necessarily, and I'm not trying to keep a secret from you, when this started, it wasn't like I said, oh, we're going to do this for the next 15 years. It was, let's just try this, So we're learning as we go, and we're listening to our audience, and we're trying to react to what they like and don't like, and see what happens. It's a fun project for our crew.
Hell yeah. Well, I love it. I know I'll watch. I'm excited for all these coming up. We'll link everything down in the description too for all these tournaments. But Blake, appreciate the time, brother. Really enjoyed talking with you, and good luck with the rest of the year, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.